Hi, my name is Eren Viau, and I'm a fantasy author. I write books involving the queer community and neurodivergent people, people with disabilities and chronic illness, people of color of all shapes and sizes, and I make sure that everybody kind of gets represented in a fantastical world surrounded by fantastical creatures. My last book was actually published in July of this year, so 2022, and it's called The Voyage of the Demota Novia. It was a story inspired by a scene that got stuck in my head while listening to a song. So for anybody who gets those little weird movies in your head when you listen to things or you hear certain sound or phrase, you'll know what I'm speaking of. I know not everybody gets that, but I was listening to Womanizer while at work a few years ago, and I got this really weird, mini movie in my head of this character, which ended up being the main character, Marita, dancing on a tavern table to Womanizer while looking at the character that ended up being Aluka. And him just smirking and watching like he's absolutely insane, but he loves him. And I looked at my coworker at the time, and I'm like, male or female? And she's like, what? I'm like, prince or princess? And she goes, prince. And I'm like, all right. And I never, ever actually explained to her what that was about. But yeah, that was actually the start of Demota. It kind of took on a life of its own. I know it sounds really out of place, but I promise either in the book that I will be releasing in the next few years, no one else gets to know that yet, or in the short stories that will also be released, everybody will get to see the scene of Marita dancing on the tavern tables, absolutely probably drunk, and it'll be great. Everybody will get to see what inspired Demota and how crazy my mind is. Aluka had such a strong presence, there was no way he was going to be anything but what he was sitting in that tavern, but I couldn't tell with Marita. Completely gender ambiguous. Absolutely gorgeous, but gender ambiguous, hence asking my coworker, male or female, prince or princess. And that's how I got the main characters, too, and I just let them all, Demota, I kind of let them all just, grow themselves. I tried to let all my characters kind of grow organically. A lot of the times I will look at my wife and go, male or female? Pick a number between this and this. Yes or no? I'll have two ideas stuck in my head, and I'll have someone pick something at completely random. They'll have no idea what it is. And I'm like, all right, we got this. I know it drives the people that I live with, so my wife and my family members and friends, absolutely insane, because they have no idea what I'm talking about until later, and they're like, okay. I'm like, hey, you picked it. The thing I love about writing most is being able to get the stories on paper. So I have ADHD, and in my side, the way I'm affected is, ever since I was little, I could hear the characters kind of going back and forth. And for a while I was scared that I was schizophrenic or something as I got older and knew what that meant. And thankfully, I actually got to talk to a professional who was well versed in ADHD after, asking, if I should get tested. And they're like, oh, no, you're just a creative ADHD. You have ideas warring in your head. So the thing I love about it the most is not just bringing these characters to life, but it's kind of validating for me that I'm not going insane. Or there's something, scary going on, I guess. But I get to bring these characters to life. I get to bring these worlds to life. Everything that's going on inside my head that just seems like a jumbled mess, I get to bring down on paper, and characters that I've gotten to listen to, I get to share them with others. And it is just an incredibly amazing experience, especially when I have readers and I've gotten messages going, oh my god, I love this character. Oh my god, I have, I see myself in this character, and I'm just going, oh, yay! Yay! I brought a smile to someone's face. I also love the fact that I get to work with my wife on my projects, because like for the cover of Demota, and I did a cover reveal for the book coming out later this year, which is War of Silence. My covers are actually painted art pieces that are actually done by my wife, who's a fine artist, which brings a whole new element and, I don't know, grace, I guess, because they're hand painted. And I'm not saying anything about everybody who does digital art. I love digital art, but it kind of sets something apart, because a lot of covers are either just words, or they're digital art, or they're just a singular image, and you don't get to see very many books, especially in the fantasy genre, that are painted like someone took the time and painted with oils or acrylics or even watercolor. And that just brings something extra. And to be able to say, yes, my wife did that. My wife and I sat down and we did our best to come up with a cover that represents the book, represents the characters, represents the journey your guys are going to go on. I absolutely love that. Be patient with yourself and be kind with yourself. If you really want to write the book, you're going to write it. I have every faith in you that you will, at some point, finish it. If you truly and utterly desire it, whether it's out of passion or spite because someone told you couldn't, I have every faith that you will do it. But you gotta be patient with yourself. You have to be kind with yourself. You're gonna make errors. You're gonna have a hard time. You're going to need to go back and redo a scene. You're gonna have writer's block. Sometimes you need to bounce ideas off of other people, and that's okay. Don't get too harsh on yourself because it's taking a while, or because you're having an issue trying to figure out how to write something. Not everybody is great at writing every kind of scene. I personally have a hard time doing fight scenes, which is really funny considering, I have a decent amount of fight scenes. I have a hard time with the language of it and trying to convey it correctly, so it takes me longer to do the fight scenes than it does like travel or introduction or description or romance or other types of scenes. And I know I'm not the only person who has that issue. Some people have a hard time writing spicier scenes. Sometimes people have an issue writing romance. It's not a critique or a issue that pertains to only one person, and it's okay. It's okay to ask for help, but you have to be kind to yourself. It's not the end of the world because you take 3 years to write a book and not 6 months. Not everybody can write that fast. It's not, it doesn't make you a bad writer if you need help. If you need multiple different kinds of editors. If you go through 18 different drafts. Be kind and be patient with yourself. That is the biggest advice that I can give any anybody aspiring to do any sort of craft, especially writing, especially when you're seeing very well-developed authors writing books in a year, writing books in 6 months. Sometimes you don't know if they have multiple projects going on at the same time. And that's another thing. You don't have to have multiple projects. Not everybody's head works that way, and that's okay. Be kind to yourself. You are not them. It's okay. As long as you love your story, that's what matters. My book, The Voyage of the Demota Novia, came out in July, and you can get the paperback and ebook on Amazon. It is for KU. By the time this airs, you might also be able to get the hardcover copy. Hopefully the proofs will be in any day now. And in November, War of Silence will be coming out November 1st. Again, you can find that on Amazon and KU, and preferably hardcover. Again, hardcovers take a little longer when it comes to getting my proofs in, I've noticed. If you want to ever get a signed copy when I have them in stock, I do have them on my website for my small business, and that's ravenandbutterfly.com, and I will usually have like the pre-orders or signed copies, or if you want to do like a specialty gift set when it comes to the holidays or birthday, I will probably be having those available on my website, and that's where you can find my books. You can also find me at author Eren Viau on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, so that will also have all the links to finding the books and what's kind of going on. So I want to thank everybody for listening to me ramble. I am so sorry, this is my first video interview, so this is very strange for me. I'm used to doing written interviews. So thank you. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I hope you find something that makes you happy today.